Hi guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel, Glam By Sam. If you're new here, don't forget to click subscribe if you want new beauty videos 3 to 5 times a week. And if you are already a subscriber, then of course, hi, welcome back. So glad you're watching again. So for today's video, we're going to be talking about the worst makeup releases of 2021 so far. And this video is totally inspired by Angelica, so I will leave her channel linked down below because she did this video and I was like, that's such a fun idea. So I do these Will I Buy It videos where I talk about the new makeup releases almost every month. But I thought it would be fun to focus on like the worst makeup releases so far this year because there have been some really bad makeup releases and that is not just my opinion. So these are just releases that I either think are really bad or you guys think are really bad too. This is nothing against the actual brand, like most of these brands have products that I love, but these makeup releases just were not it. So I think without further ado, if you want to see the worst makeup releases of 2021 so far, then please keep watching. So I'm sitting right here so I can insert the photos right here, and just like with my makeup releases Will I Buy It, the photos are going to be from Trend Mood, so I will link her Instagram in the description box as always. I'm just going to go through these makeup releases in no particular order, but the first one I really need to talk about, I have my iPad right here, so if you see me looking down, that is why. But the first one I want to talk about are the KKW Beauty Eye Contour Duos. Now I personally thought this was a really bad makeup release because they were charging how much? They were charging $24 for 2 shades, while their regular eyeshadow palettes are, I believe, around $40. So really this was such a bad deal because you were only getting 2 shades, and these were called eye contour duos. Now I don't know if you guys know this, but you don't need a contour for your eyes, just use eyeshadow. This release is nothing different than 2 brown eyeshadows from a palette, so you really didn't need this. And I don't know like who she thought this was going to be for, because I know pretty much everyone has some sort of eyeshadow palette in their collection. Really these browns are probably in a lot of people's collection, and no one needs a contour for their eyes because you can do the exact same thing with eyeshadow. Like if you buy a $15 Colourpop palette, you will get the same result and you have even more shades to play with. So this was such a bad release. I don't think I've seen anyone who was excited about this. I wonder how many of these she actually sold, but I don't think it's going to be a lot of them. Then next we have a release from Fenty Beauty, and this is the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb, and this is the Gloss Bomb Dips. Now this is actually like her gloss bomb, which I love, but this one is actually in like a little container, and I know she releases like right before April Fools, and everyone, including myself, was like, this is totally going to be an April Fool's joke because what a bad release. Especially we're in a pandemic, like everyone's aware of like hygiene and everything, and no one wants to be touching unnecessary stuff to put on their face, and she released a gloss that you literally have to dip your finger in. So you can also clip this to like a bag or your jeans. So I seriously don't get who thought this was a good idea to release, and I think everyone was kind of disappointed that this was not an April Fool's joke, because that means they literally meant this as an actual thing and thought this was an actual good idea. Don't know who thought this was a good idea to release, especially in this year. So then the next makeup release was actually one that released like right at the beginning of January, and I think everyone was like, what is going on? So MAC actually released the Sims collection, or the Sims palette, and I think everyone can remember this palette because I've seen this all over Instagram at the time. Everyone was so mad at MAC Cosmetics because basically what they did, they apparently re-released an old 9-pan eyeshadow palette that I think no one really liked to begin with. They just put a blue The Sims packaging on the outside like cardboard box, and then they were like, here's the Sims collab. The shades don't have anything to do with The Sims. I don't even think these are names that have to do something with The Sims, and just like the outer cardboard packaging, like no one's actually going to keep that. So now I've never played The Sims, so I personally wasn't too offended by this launch because I don't play The Sims to begin with, so I have no clue like which shades they should have chosen for this. But the fact that they just re-released like an old palette just makes me wonder, like they just wanted some money quickly and they just thought this was an easy way for them to do so. So that's making me sad. I don't think anyone has bought this, and I really think this is a really bad release. The next we have one that I dislike even more, and I haven't seen a single person review this, so I'm guessing this wasn't the best launch either. So this is by NYX, and this is the NYX Tetris collection. It says Back to the 80s palette. Now, this palette has 80 shades 80 shades. Like, which eyeshadow palettes needs 80 shades? Where are you going to store an eyeshadow palette with 80 shades? So the palette itself retails for $45, which is not a bad price for 80 shades, but which person on earth needs 80 shades in one palette? Like, even if you want to buy like a super colorful palette that you can do like looks with for your makeup Instagram and you want to practice with makeup, you still don't need 80 shades in one palette. Like, I would never reach for that palette. And also, this is the Tetris collection, but when I look at this palette, like, apart from the outlines that they did on some shades, what exactly is Tetris about this? Like, the next we have one that of course launched fairly recently, and this is one I don't necessarily dislike because of the concept, because I dislike it because of the ridiculous price, and this is the Hourglass Curator collection. Now, I mentioned this in my previous Will I Buy It video. What a ridiculous amount of money for an eyeshadow palette with 5 shades. So 3-pan palette is $99 and a 5-pan palette is $161. Who is going to spend $161 on a 5-pan palette? Now, I saw a review on this palette from someone who is very, very honest. I can't remember her name exactly, but she was like, this is not worth the price. Like, there isn't a single person for who this is worth the price, because this formula wasn't anything like unique or special. It was just like an average formula, but they're asking a price that is much higher than like the average price for an eyeshadow palette. So I don't know. I mean, I like the Hourglass powders. I have one of their palettes, like their face palettes, which has 6 shades for $80, I believe, which was a ridiculous amount of money to begin with as well. But in the end, compared like to the regular Hourglass minis, it was a good deal. But this is in no way a good deal. And then we have a release from Benefit, and this is one I'm truly like confused by. I don't necessarily think it is like the worst release, because I still think some people will like this, but I wanted to put this in this video because I just don't get it. And this is the Hoola Contour Quad from Benefit. So this is like a palette with 4 different Hoola shades, and the reason why I'm so confused by this is mainly because it is released by Benefit. Like, if this was released by a makeup artist brand, I wouldn't be surprised, because truly this is a nice idea for makeup artists to have like 4 different bronzer shades or contour shades in your palette for like clients and everything. But Benefit, from what I know, is a brand that's targeted mostly towards like regular consumers and not necessarily towards makeup artists. So the fact that they are actually the ones who are releasing this is just confusing me so much, because I don't think like a single person who is not a makeup artist is going to be able to use 4 of these shades. Like, if you can use Hoola Light, like there's no way you're going to be able to use Hoola Toasted. And that is why I'm genuinely like so confused by this launch, because I'm literally like, who is Benefit trying to target with this palette? I just don't get this release, and I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on this. Like, let me know what you think Benefit is trying to do with this palette, because I'm really not sure. Okay guys, and this was it for my video about the worst makeup releases of 2021 so far. It wasn't like a super long video because I mainly wanted to talk about the ones that stood out for me, and I just don't want to include products that I don't necessarily think are super bad or like bad launches. So that is why I only included a couple of ones that I personally thought weren't that great. But I still hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I would love to hear in the comment section what you think about these releases and which release you think is the worst release of 2021 so far. I also wanted to say that if you did enjoy this video, then I would absolutely love it if you gave it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you don't want to miss any of my videos. All of these things would help me so much with my channel, and I'd really appreciate it. But with that said, I have to thank you guys all so much for watching. I really hope you have an amazing day, and I really hope to see you in my next video. Bye!